Welcome to Moment of Clarity. I'm Lee Camp. I put these out almost every day. You can get them at leecamp.com. A gig economy company has launched that is similar to Uber, but for evicting people. They are the Uber for evicting people. As some of you may know, and I've talked about this before, we've got 100 million people in America facing eviction because unlike other countries that have been able to deal with this pandemic like rational thinking fucking human beings where their brain stem isn't just fucking gelatin, our leaders have done little to nothing other than bail out corporations and larger companies. Some smaller companies have been bailed out to some degree, but much of the bailing out to the tune of trillions of dollars has gone to the biggest corporations, companies, big banks in the world. And that's why Wall Street, despite some blips and bumps so far, has not fully collapsed, is because Wall Street's doing fine for the most part. They're enjoying it as we all suffer, as average people and poor people suffer around the country and around the globe. But I'm talking specifically about how terrible America's done at dealing with this pandemic. Obviously, we're whatever it is, 1/5 maybe of the deaths in the world so far from this thing. But this app that has been created, it's a company called Civil. Civil, which don't you love how they're using words like civil to describe stealing people's shit and kicking them out of their homes? The word civil, this is the opposite of civil. This is divide and conquer. This is turn average and poor people against each other in order to allow the ruling elite to continue their domination. You have to get some good infighting. You want to see some real UFC on the streets between average working folks if you really want to dominate in these times, in these fucked up dystopian times. But a company called Civil says evicting people is the, quote, fastest growing money-making gig due to COVID-19. So exciting, so thrilling. And so here's a quote. This is from a Vice article about it. During a time of great economic and general hardship, Civil aims to be essentially Uber, but for evicting people, seizing on a pandemic-driven nosedive in unemployment. So a nosedive in employment, a jump up, a spike up in unemployment, a nosedive in employment, and huge uptick in number of people who can't pay their rent. Civil aims to make it easy for landlords to hire process servers and eviction agents as gig workers. So this is disgusting on so many levels. I mean, to begin with, this is because the politicians in this country no longer represent the people in almost any way. One of my favorite studies to reference is the large Princeton study that showed that if a policy does not align with corporate interests, with business interests in the country, then it never gets done in Congress. Meaning Congress may put forward some things that you think are okay or you may like here or there, but unless they align with corporate America, unless they align with the business interests, then they are not getting done. Basically 0% of the time. So that is a fully unaccountable political elite. There is no point that they're standing for the people or doing things that is against corporate America to help people. And so you end up in this cutthroat world where we can't get through a crisis. We don't know how to deal with cascading crises from natural disasters, the pandemic, the various other economic hardships. And these crises coming together, there's no way you can deal with them without giving a fuck about people. Not in a way that doesn't just benefit the rich. This also speaks to the myth of America, one of the great myths, which is hard work will set you free, right? Didn't they say that on one of the signs of the concentration camps? Hard work will set you free. Yeah, no, that dream is long gone. That dream is dead and buried. The hard work, the people being evicted right now, the people that have people from this app coming to their house and kicking them out of their house and kicking them out of their apartments and kicking them out of their homes, Those are most of them, almost all of them are hard workers. They worked hard. They largely did everything right. They did their best to make ends meet, almost without exception. These are not fucking, assholes sitting on a couch being like, all right, I got myself a free apartment. That is not what most of these people are. It's fucking laughable. It's ridiculous that people can't be housed in this country. And I've said before, I would settle for 2.5 good walls and a roof. 2.5. Don't even need the 4. 2.5 walls, roof, done. Deal. Every person. They could put up a tarp or something to fill out the other side. To continue from this article, Civil aims to marry the gig economy with the devastation of a pandemic. Aw, isn't that nice to see two wonderful things like that get married? The devastation of a pandemic, complete with signature gig startup language like be your own boss and flexible hours and looking for self-motivated individuals with positive attitudes. Here's another quote from the ad. Fastest growing money-making gig due to COVID-19. Oh, yeah, we already said that one. Its website says, and here's another quote from the Civil website, literally thousands of process servers are needed in the coming months due to courts being backed up in judgments that need to be served to defendants. So please help knock your fellow Americans out of their homes because we haven't been able to do it quite quick enough. And by the way, the article does say that although this sounds like some sort of prank that might be done to draw attention to how disgusting these evictions are, they've done some digging in, and Civil is owned by a parent company that is a legit app company and has other legitimate apps. So as far as I can tell, this is not a joke. This is not some sort of prank meant to draw attention to evictions. This is literally a company that was like, I bet we could make good bucks by hiring people to kick other people out of their homes. And here's the thing is some people, for those of you, and maybe there aren't many if you're watching this, but those of you who believe the holy free market economy, oh, free market, and you look up and a light shines down, it's the free market. Hold on. There we go. Oh, Jesus. It's a free market. Sorry, needed to do the lighting, but my Foley artist was not good with the sound effects. But the way people are so religious about the goddamn free market, and then it's like it does anything for profit. That's the definition of it, right? There's no moral ideas, basis, foundation to it. There's no ethical consideration. It is just fully whatever can get profit. And so that means there could be apps doing horrible shit, hiring people to do horrible shit. And people do horrible shit if they need money. So yet again, this is the capitalist free market system. It's like, hey, you need a buck? I need you to go kill this guy. All right, cool. Yeah, I really do need a buck. There's no ethical undertones. You can, when people are desperate, you can get them to do all kinds of shit. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it a good job. It doesn't make it something that's fun and exciting. Like they try and say, be your own boss, flexible hours, looking for self-motivated individuals. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And of course people would do it because they need money. And you like I said, you can get people to do anything if they're really desperate. One example I remember is the Native American tribe in, I believe, Arizona, where they was it the Oak Flats mining, where Congress went in front, various Congress people went in front of Congress to lobby to give this mining, allow this mining to go through, which is owned by or at least was owned by a Chinese company. And it's tearing apart holy sites in Arizona. But another tribe has some of the jobs selling water or delivering water to the mining company. And so the Congress people go up there and go, this is great. We got jobs for this other tribe that doesn't give a fuck about the holy site. And it's like, yeah, when people are desperate, you could pay them to dig their own grave. Like, that's what our system is built on, making sure there is an underlying number of desperate people who are willing to do some of this shit that is horrific. And you know, to go back to concentration camps, that seems to be the theme of this particular moment of clarity. And many of the guards on the lower level guards were actual Jews that were prisoners, but were also low level guards at these camps. Because when people are desperate, when they fear death and they fear starvation and they fear getting kicked out of their homes, they will do anything. You can pay them to kick other people out of their homes. And again, people should question this stuff. They shouldn't just be, oh, well, I guess that's okay. That's a legit job. Yeah, you good, great. But we should get angry. We should unite rather than being torn apart, rather than being paid to actually fuck each other's lives up. You know, I'm going to start an app where you find workers, you pay people to vomit on people you don't like. So it's nice because it helps match you up with a professional projectile vomiter who needs some cash. And then and during the time of the pandemic, this is going to be really useful because that'll piss people off even more. So you find your person who's good at vomiting on cue, and you say, here's the person I need you to vomit on, and they go and they just, and I mean like real, like solid vomit, not some sort of, I'm talking real distance on it, and you really hose the guy down. And so that'd be an awesome app, right? You just, I'm going to create that app. You just, so you can find people to vomit on your enemies. It's like, just because these things exist or could exist doesn't make them all right, doesn't make them ethical. Instead, you have to ask questions about the core economic system that means that this exists at all. That means that this is something that at least the markets consider to be okay, civil, isn't it? And then with my vomit app, I'm going to use all the same, tech startup lingo. Like, hey, we're looking for somebody who wants to be your own boss and flexible hours. You can go vomit on them whenever you like. I'm not going to tell you when to show up to work. You go vomit, you go puke on my enemies whenever you feel like, wherever the mood hits you. I'm looking for a real self-starter, an entrepreneur who just needs a few bucks, is hard working and hard vomiting. I mean, it's all right. I don't know. I think you guys get the point. There's a federal ban on evictions declared by the CDC, but many landlords are not abiding by it, or they're finding other reasons to kick someone out. It says like you can't kick them out for failing to pay their rent right now for the time being because of the pandemic. But you could make up other reasons. They were being too loud, so you kick them out or whatever. So the really bad landlords, the true assholes, are going to do it anyway. So evictions are going forward anyway. And they really are pressing on. And furthermore, even if they don't evict you until whatever, it's put off till January, February, this CDC ban says you will still owe all of that money, plus sometimes interest and possibly even late payments. So what are you going to do when it gets to January and February and you owe thousands upon thousands of dollars? Well, thanks a lot, federal government. Thanks a lot, CDC. This really solved the problem for 2 months. It's just made it worse. So we have this tsunami of evictions coming on in one of the richest countries in the world, and a place where absolutely housing should be a human right. We can 3D print a house in the span of like fucking a few hours now, and it costs a few $1,000s. You could print tiny homes for everybody, and not to mention there are enough empty homes and houses and apartments right now across this country for everybody to have like 3 or 5 or something. There's plenty of housing. It's just in the economic system we have, it is meant to create scarcity. We live in a post-scarcity world. If the actual resources were distributed in a rational, logical, fucking real-brained way, rather than this fucking half-brain nitwit profit over all else, fuck your neighbor way, we actually live in a post-scarcity world. So the system has to create scarcity to then charge a premium, and in order to do that, it needs to kick people out of their homes if they don't pay that amount of money, and it has to not give out housing for free, which is another thing that we have proven works. in Utah. They gave out housing. It started in 2015. They gave out housing to those who needed it. Anybody who was chronically homeless got a free apartment. And they actually saved money for the state because there were fewer people on the streets needing emergency care, needing police visits, those kind of things. And they found that it decreased homelessness by like 90-something percent, 91% maybe. And then they stopped the program because it was too good. It worked too well. And the fucking capitalist structure doesn't want that. Doesn't want everybody housed, because if everybody's housed, now you don't have people paying half of their daily income towards their rent. They think, well, I'll get an apartment whether I am able to pay or not. Because it's built on exploitation. It's built on exploiting your lives. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I hope you will share this. And like I said, I do these every single weekday, except sometimes. So please go to leecamp.com every day and watch the new one. That would be awesome. And please share these, hit the subscribe button, and click the bell icon. And yeah, keep fighting.